Okay, I started the recording.
Thank you. All right, let's go over here. And there we go. Welcome, fellow Rotarians and guests, to the Rotary E-Club of North Texas on this Tuesday, October 22nd at 6:03. We appreciate you guys joining us and tuning in. Our guest tonight is Mr. Mitchell Levy. He is our guest speaker, so I will have Mr. Howard present him later on when we go through that part. But we have a great turnout today with several Rotarians. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 folks. So thank you guys for joining us live, and hope to catch up with those that were missing in action so shortly. Mr. David, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Miss Linda, can you open us up in our opening invocation, please?
As we gather here this evening as members of Rotary, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our services to fellow citizens and to our community. Keep always in mind that the enduring values of life, exerting an emphasis to those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence and strive, and may we go forth with the magic of Rotary. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Miss Robin, can you lead us in our mission and vision statement?
Our mission statement: we provide service to others, promote integrity, and advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through our fellowship of business, professional, and community leaders. The vision statement: together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves.
Thank you. Thank you guys for our opening introductions. Just as a reminder, we're spreading the magic of Rotary this year. This theme this month is economic and community development. So when you're going out the month of October, think of how can I put service above myself while supporting local economies and community development. One way is to always shop local. Help the small businesses around you. Robin is a small business. Howard is a small business. So definitely plug in and support your fellow Rotarians, small businesses, as well as those in your communities. Remember, if you do any community service, please message me so I can log it in Rotary International. This week, Miss Linda and David participated in 2 events. Why don't you guys go ahead and share what you've done this week?
Last Friday, we went to the bingo out at Envision and helped out there, volunteered, and also Dr. Brinkman, who will be a member eventually, she was also there to help. And today we've been shopping for the Halloween party, which we're going to be having on Friday afternoon, and I can't think of anything else.
You guys also did the White Cane event last week.
That was last week. We did White Cane, which is the blind. I'll let Blake.
Yeah, Blake, you want to tell us about the White Cane event?
Well, we had a great turnout. It sure was glad to have Linda and David there. Always great to have them, and they're very consistent with coming to White Cane Day. But it's a celebration of the proclamation back in '64, but we've really expanded it and just taken it to a bigger level. The celebration for our independence, not only through cane travel, but you're talking about assistive technology training and things that we can do now that just really enable us to have good full-time jobs. And so it's really improved a lot over the last 60 years. But this is actually the 60th anniversary this year of the actual proclamation by President Johnson. So Linda and David, once again, thanks for volunteering for that and being out there with us.
Super. Thanks, you guys.
And Jack made it out there as it ended. His GPS took him all over the place, so he got there about the time we were leaving.
Oh, poor thing. As a reminder, we have our World Polio Day is Thursday. For those that are going to be in the DFW area, we are hosting a Pints for Polio event in Salina. Myself, David, and Linda will be there, and Chris also RSVP. So hope to be able to raise some money to end polio. We really are this close. 2 cases are left. Afghanistan and Pakistan are the only 2 countries left where polio remains. So please support our fight to end polio.
And
And
we're
then as
up
Linda-
to 40 cases so far this year versus 12 cases last year, and that's Pakistan, Afghanistan.
Thank you. Linda, you want to talk about your update on the Boys and Girls Club? We talked about that briefly before we got started.
Well, we're going to have it this Friday, K through 3, about 50 kids. So they're all looking forward to it. We were over there this afternoon, and they have the decorations up, the big dragon that we had donated, and some other things. And so looking forward to that. And Carlissa will be out there with us, and so will Chris.
Super. Thank you. Be sure to send me a recap and I'll get it logged in the system for us.
And then also, I'd like to mention our November 16th luncheon. That's okay?
Yep, I do have a slide for that.
Oh, okay.
Yep. The first Tuesday of the month, we're going to hold a quarterly board meeting. So if you guys have any agenda or topic items, please send that over to me. Our board meetings are welcome for anybody to join. If you are interested in attending, just let me know and I'll send you the link. And then, take it away, Miss Linda.
Okay, talked to Lisa, and we're gonna have a potluck lunch on Saturday, November the 16th at 1 o'clock. And it's their new house on the lake up at Lake Louisville. And anyway, it's gonna be a Thanksgiving type potluck. So we'll be catching you soon to find out what you can bring. And I know David and I will probably bring boiled shrimp to have an appetizer. But bring whatever. Let us know in advance if you're coming, because we need to know how many chairs, tables, whatever to set up. And so anyway, but don't wait till the last minute to notify me. Oh, and I talked to Tushar today, and his family's back from India, and so they plan to be out there.
Super. Great. All right. Well, more to come. We'll send out an email. So I'm going to change the RSVP to Miss Linda. And Linda, do you mind coordinating all that?
That's fine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Any other announcements or anything better good for the group today?
I've got something you could say is a joy. A little job I worked on 20 years ago. The B-2 bomber flew its first combat mission last week, and the Houthi rebels in the Eastern Mediterranean. And I was the lead designer for the main landing gear bay on the B-2. So I was glad to see it being used.
That's cool. Well, that's really neat, David. All right. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Howard to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Mitchell Levy.
Oh, I want to thank him for coming. He is a global celebrity expert. Mitchell Levy.
Oh, Howard, you're probably saying amazing things, but you're on mute.
Okay. Yeah, I always mute myself so I don't make noises to disturb anyone. Thank you for pointing it out. He is a global credibility expert. It's a 2-time TEDx speaker, including the 28th most popular in 2021, an international best-selling author of over 60 books, a certified stakeholder-centered coach, and an executive coach at Marshall Goldsmith's 100 Coaches. As an executive coach, he's a sounding board, a thinking partner, and someone who can hold the mirror to generate insights for personal change. This impact has earned him a place among the world's top 200 leadership voices by Leaders Hum. He was number 16 in 2023 and the number 1 thought leader in the ecosystems and top 100 thought leaders overall by Thinkers 360. He's an accomplished entrepreneur He's created 20 businesses in Silicon Valley, including publishing companies that have published over 750 books. He provided strategic consulting to hundreds of companies and has been the chairman of a board of a NASDAQ-listed company. Welcome, and can you please mute your mics while he's speaking so he doesn't get disturbed? If he needs us to answer questions, we can unmute, but keep it muted so there's no noises. Thank you. Mitchell, you can use slides if you want. You can share your screen or not. It's up to you. And most speakers speak for 20 to 30 minutes.
Got it. I'll do my best. Blake, you have a great radio voice. I really enjoyed hearing you speak. I have a presentation that's on clarity, and we could do Q&A, or I could just share that. This is so let me know. I'll share a little bit about it. I will. What probably is best is I'll show you the presentation title, and I'll do the first slide or so, and then we can talk about, is this the right thing for this audience? Generally speaking, I believe that clarity is something 98% of us don't have, and it unlocks everything. So it makes it easier to get referrals for small businesses, actually all businesses, but particularly small businesses. It allows you to get credibility. And then what you did a good job of looking at my bio. One of the things I like to do, one of the lessons I learned, is to actually have a quick to 2-minute "Who is Mitchell?" because it helps give value to what I'm talking about. So let me share this, and then I'll ask if the presentation is good to share, and then I'll just go from there.
We're not hearing anything.
Are you hearing music?
No.
Oh, interesting. I thought I shared music. Thanks for letting me know. Let's try that again.
I've done this, that's why.
You are absolutely right. Thank you. And it's basically just music in the background, but it does add to the feel. Thank you.
Now we hear it.
Okay, thank you. Oh, that's successful. Thanks for having me here. I really appreciate it. Now, when I look around the world, I see a trend I'm not excited about. I see more and more companies, more and more people acting dubiously versus credible. My goal is... Oh, isn't that special? To tip the scale between credible and dubious, and I would like that to be yours as well. I'm sure many of you feel this way. Now, credibility starts with clarity. If 90% of us do not actually know our purpose, if we are born, live, and die without knowing that, and 98% don't know clarity, let's start there. It's as simple if you're a credible human, if you have a credible company, it's as simple as to focus on who you serve and either the pain point or pleasure point that they feel they need to be addressed. Let's start with clarity, then let's move it into credibility, and let's make this a better planet together. Thanks for joining me. Thanks. Did you guys have a break on time as well?
What does that mean?
Sorry, I'm in Silicon Valley, so of course the internet doesn't work as well as it always should. Are we okay doing a clarity presentation, you guys?
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll start with a gift then. One of the things I would like to share is, let's make sure we do this properly and share with sound. Yes, we are still doing sound. So if you're curious, since college, I've used a framework that has allowed me to have clarity with everything I do. And I've created a 17-minute course, 17 minutes, the input-output course. If you go to aha.pub/superheroes, you could register and take that course, and it's complimentary. And so I'd love if you were interested. I would love it if you took advantage of that offer. And that is also now in chat. So I think I could see most people. Do me a favor, raise your hand if you think if you can draw. All right. So in addition to me, there was one other. Everyone was shaking else there and no. So I have to say something. All of you can draw. It's simply that oh, Juliet, thank you. It's simply that society has told you can't. And after a while, there's been enough time, because you could draw something, even really horrible stick figures. When I do this in front of young children, everyone raises their hand. Because they haven't been beaten up enough to say, hey, you can't do this, you can't go there, you can't do that. And what I'll say to you is that is also true with clarity and credibility and the number of things I talk about. But the first thing I thought I would do is I share what is clarity, and I normally don't ever read every slide, but Blake, because I didn't provide this ahead of time, I'll read the slides so you can get what I'm saying. So clarity refers to how easy something is to perceive or understand. If we look at it from the aspect of mental clarity, it describes a state of being where your thoughts are focused and sharp. If we look at it from a perspective of clarity of purpose, it's having a clear understanding of your goals and motivations. And if we look at it from the perspective of bringing clarity to a situation, it's the ability to explain a situation in a way that makes it easier to understand. Was I clear on the definition of clarity? We okay? Okay. So Mark Twain had a great quote. The two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you found out why. Now, if you were paying attention to my intro, what I said there was 90% of people never find out their purpose and 98% don't have clarity. So basically, this means that most people are born, live, and die without ever knowing why. Well, we can fix that. So I ended up between 2019 and 2020 interviewing 500 thought leaders on credibility. And the one thing that just stood out, that continued to slap me in the face, is that 98% of them lacked clarity. And when I say that, it's the ability for them to articulate in less than 10 words who they serve and what the pain point or pleasure point of who they serve were. It basically to quickly and easily understand who they were. So I'm going to tell you a teeny secret. And the secret is really clarity. It's sort of like the secret of drawing. You actually can draw, you just do it. The secret of clarity is very simple. And the truth is, you don't need a lot of words to be able to define who you are by who you serve. I think as humans, credible humans, part of being credible is being servant leaders. And as a servant leader, who is it that you serve? And so clarity means quickly and easily understanding and letting other people know, including yourself, is important, the playground you play in. Because here's another thing, if you go through life not loving your job, there's a whole lot of time you've spent not loving what you do. And so if you could find something you get excited about, you could find an audience, a playground to play in, and get paid for it, you never actually work. You get to play all the time. So this is the secret formula. It is a simple and easy way to convey who you are. And what I'll do is also play a short compilation videos of other, I call them CPOPs. A CPOP stands for your customer point of possibilities. And it's comprised of two elements. First, who you serve, 1, 2, or 3 words. Today I did one which was 4, so I guess that's okay. And second, either what pain point or what pleasure point you are addressing for your clients. So I'll give you a couple, and then I'll allow the video to give a couple more. And then I'll stop for a second to see if you have any questions. One of my favorite, one of my clients, successful women living with regret. 5 words. So she's a coach to executive women who are really good at what they do. The problem is that some of the things they do is based on regret. They're making actions and activities based on regret that they've had in the past. They need to get over those, unlock those, to be able to go forward more successfully. One that I was using for quite a long time, coaches who've created a job, not a business. These are coaches who are great at transformation, great at helping a company or individual go from A to B. But what they're not so good at is running a business. So we have a solution that helps them do that. Where I'm transitioning at the moment is Inc. 5,000 CEOs leading the future with executive gravitas. Once again, what happens with a CPOP is it quickly defines the playground. It quickly defines who you serve and what their pain point or pleasure point is. Let me share an example of a couple others, and then we'll keep going from there. Actually, what I might do after we do this is I might ask if you have any questions. Could you share what is your CPOP?
Sure, it is higher ed businesses wanting a true marketing partner.
Brands with stakeholders needing measurable change.
Experts tired of monthly launches.
Businesses needing their stories told well.
Consultants who have peaked.
Organizations who are needing positive, sustainable change.
Organizations frustrated with change efforts.
CEOs seeing team misalignment.
High-level execs with undiscovered bottlenecks.
Strong brands with great ideas.
People want more.
I love the rabbi at the end. It's unfortunately one of the things in life is everybody wants more, and when is enough? What I thought I would ask is, what do you guys think? Does it seem straightforward? Here's the magic formula. Any questions on that? Anything I can answer before? We could also do questions at the end if you want to wait. But if anyone had any questions, I'm happy to address now. Okay, I don't see any hands, so I will share again. So your CPOP, your customer point of possibilities, acts as 2 things. It acts as your compass. If done right, it also acts as your magnet. So it acts as an ability for you to look at and make decisions. And if you make decisions and demonstrate behavior that's in alignment with your compass, you're looking as if you're somebody who's credible because you have authenticity, you have integrity, you have the intent and commitment to do the right thing. You are doing things consistently. Let me show you how to deploy it. So what happens is the first thing that one should do is sit down and come up with this simple statement. What is your CPOP? Once again, it's who you serve and what is their pain point or pleasure point. Once you've done that, you want to show up consistently, credibly. So you go to your website, you go to your social media. When you speak with other people, you speak from the element of your CPOP. You speak from that playground. A lot of times people say, who do you serve? Well, I serve this person, that person, and it's hard to recommend you. The more focused you can be, the more narrow you can be on how you define who you serve, the more people want to actually do business with you. So once you've actually come up with your clarity statement and consistently show it in how you show up offline or in your online media, then what you want to do is you want to do something that makes it easy for somebody to see you. I call this the client magnet, and it's some micro commitment, something that somebody gets excited about. Simple micro commitment is what I shared up front. Join the Clarity community, be able to take a course that's complimentary. You know, that's a client magnet where you get to see me, and hopefully what that does, you get excited about what you see and you want more. And then one of the things that's important in today's world is you don't need to be a huge community superhero, but you need to be a community superhero. You need to be a good one. So the community just needs to be the audience you're targeting. You don't need to be an influencer, but you need to be able to influence those who fit within the playground that you play with. And it really is that simple. I've created a framework, and what I call this framework is the most important thing is you do your CPOP, you actually get your clarity, and then CPOPing is the things that will help you. If you deploy your clarity right, you've got confidence. If you got confidence, you drive people to your client magnet. And as you're doing that, you're getting client partners and referral partners to be able to share things with you. So this is really a very simple and apparently not so easy roadmap to success. What I'll do is let me put in the chat I have a roadmap, and one of the benefits of the roadmap, I will share this. One of the benefits of the roadmap is you can actually get at a 2.5 minute video on what is a CPOP. You can then get another 2.5 minute video of Tell Me More. And then we just signed up. You're the first group to hear this. If you click on this button, once you have your CPOP, we created a 30-day email sequence. That 30-day email sequence is designed to help you reinforce your CPOP. Here's the downside. When I've now done this over 1,000 times, so that means I've helped over 1,000 people get in alignment by having their CPOP. The absolute downside is as good as they're feeling when I give a CPOP to them, what happens is they forget it somewhere between 2 hours and 2 weeks. Because society wants to get them unaligned. It's just sort of like you guys when you didn't raise your hand when you said you can draw, because everyone's trying to tell you it's something different. And so what happens is you need an accountability partner, you need somebody to help support you. So I'm just releasing the 30-day email sequence. Here's my hope. My hope is I could double the number of people who remember their CPOP. That means instead of 10%, maybe it's 20%. So what I'm also doing is looking for partners who, when they have a program that they work with clients, that they bring the clients to get their CPOP first, and then they help their clients stay accountable to who they are and how they really want to show up. So that's kind of the where I'm at the moment. It's been a fun, I have to say, everything I've done so far has been an absolutely fun journey. I will drop into the chat the Clarity Roadmap so you guys can go and see that. What I will also do is I wanted to share the next slide, and I'll put that in chat as well. For those who are very much interested in getting a CPOP, so if for those people who are not in the room, if you know somebody, you know they absolutely need clarity, once a month, I do a 90-minute session. I guarantee everyone in the room gets their CPOP. I charge $250 for it. If those that are interested because you're here want to get that, I think it's this Thursday, 2 days from now. But I'll do it again in November. I don't know if I've got it in December or if we have a holiday party instead. But if you go to this URL, aha.pub/clarity session, and use the coupon code CB4100, you will be able to reduce the price from $250 to $100. I would love to see, you can come up with your CPOPs yourself, but I'd love to be able to work with those that are interested to be able to get that level of clarity so that it becomes a lot easier for you because you have a compass. And if you deploy it right, like I said, you end up getting a magnet to attract people to you. I would love to encourage you to go back to the Clarity Superheroes community. That one is what we actually mentioned before. It's aha.pub/superheroes. And what happens at the moment, there's another course that's complimentary, and I've got a couple on the way. So Marshall Goldsmith, Marshall's the #1 CEO coach on the planet. I was recently with him and 100 others where he was training those around him to be able to share his knowledge. One of his latest books is one in which he talks about credibility needing to be earned twice. First time are the things that you do to grab credibility. The second time is when you tell the audience that you have it. You tell the people who need to know. And unfortunately, there are a lot of coaches who just say, hey, my good work needs to stand for itself. But that's not actually how it really works. I also have a number of other courses that I've shot. My team is working on that I'll be offering as part of the Clarity Superheroes. So I'd love it if you guys were interested, feel free to go there. We will be offering, there's some paid for it, but we'll be offering more courses, particularly those that came from Marshall. I'll be offering more courses that will allow people to really manage themselves and live a life that they're much happier with. And I think officially the one thing I have left, if you have questions, I know this was super quick, so that we'll have time for questions. The one thing I have left is I'd love it if you were personally interested in following through. So you've got a physical event you need me to speak at, or a company you'd like to deploy. You could always get time on my calendar. You get it from going to mitchelllevy.com, or you just go here and you can set up a connection call. And I'll put this in the chat as well. It's aha.pub/mitchelllevy-connection call. And we could talk about whatever topic is of interest to you, but particularly my areas of specialty is executive presence, credibility, clarity, and most of the days what I'm doing is helping clients figure out and helping those I'm speaking with what playground they play in and how do they focus more effectively, what should they be doing and what should they not be doing. So I would love it. That's about all I wanted to share that's officially from a presentation, but I'd love it if you have questions, you could direct me on what would be relevant for you. And thank you.
No, Mitchell, this is a lot of information, a lot of great free resources. Really appreciate your time. From my perspective, I think with age, I'm starting to get ADD. So is that something that you kind of find clarity and how do do I maintain my focus? You know?
That's a great question. I'm sorry, you can keep asking a little bit more, but it's a phenomenal question because I'm thinking, that sounds like me.
It took my son, my 24-year-old son, that tells me, Mom, your ADD is getting worse. I didn't even, but yeah, I mean, that's something I struggled with at work, and especially being on a Zoom environment. My son called me, so I put it on mute and disengaged to take my call from him. But that's my focus. I really struggle with that, man.
So, one of the benefits of getting old and getting wisdom is that you could solve a lot of problems. One of the downsides is there's not enough clarity for those around you to know that you're an expert in this one area versus another. And so, one of the real powerful things you can do in life, by the way, this happens all the time. You probably have run into many people when you say, when I look at somebody's LinkedIn profile, and I'm like, so I wonder what they do to make money, right? And it's all over the place. Or when you go to a networking event and say, what do you do? And they go, well, I serve authors and consultants and community leaders, and they speak. There's so much.
I'm thinking of Robin. Robin's shaking her head.
Oh, Robin, sorry.
No, I appreciate it because I was going to ask a question.
Oh, no, you still can, and I don't try to beat anyone up on purpose. So, but
I've been beaten by my friends lately, so I appreciate it. You're an actual expert in this to beat me up, so I mean, like, it's perfect.
Well, what happens is think of the simplicity of who and what. And what you want to be able to do is define. So what I would say, the best way I would think about it is if you can define where 80% of your revenue come from. And you might say to yourself, what class of clientele is that? Right? Because if you have a CPOP, I'll give you a great example. I am now playing around with a new CPOP. What I'm adding in front of my CPOP is Inc., and this is where it's Inc. 5,000 CEOs. Right? That's very focused. So somebody said to me, Mitchell, why are you limiting your audience to 5,000? Well, first of all, it's the CEO and their executive team. Second, if I got even a good percentage of that number, I couldn't serve. Right? That's a big audience. But let me give you the real answer. If that's the audience, and by the way, you've caught me at a good time and I'm being very vulnerable. I might change slightly before I actually go live with that solution. But if I choose that solution and pick up a couple clients and then really start executing on it, I've already served a couple clients in the 5,000, but I think I need 2 more before I could really get excited about it. If I do that, that gives me an incremental amount of credibility. So if a company comes to me that doesn't fit my CPOP, doesn't fit the playground I play in, now I get a choice. Right? If I get them excited because they would like me to work with them, even though they're not an Inc. 5,000 company, I get a choice. Do I have time, and B, do I think it'll be fun? Does that make sense? So I would say on the ADD side, it doesn't mean you don't do a bunch more. Right? I mean, if you looked at my bio, there are many things I can do. But the human brain can't consume more than 1 or 2 as you're talking. And so you want to really narrow down where your focus is, what's exciting for you, and you want your audience. This is the one thing I'll say when I share a CPOP. I'm often sharing my CPOP with the expectation that the person who's listening is a referral partner. They heard it and they go, oh my God, Mitchell, I know somebody I need to introduce you to. Do it on email, do me a text, do it on LinkedIn. Hopefully I'll see one of those, either one, any of those. But, I think the more narrow you could be the easier it is for somebody to refer you. And it's also, if you're talking to your client and you're talking to them as their referral partner, they're going to say, wait a second, that's me. How can you help me? And then you say, well, give me a little bit more detail, and then I can answer the specific question for you. Did that help on the ADD question?
Yes, yeah, it does. We're narrowing it down. My world is a little different. I do work for corporate America with several different lines of businesses, so it kind of is beneficial to be multitasking. But
and tell me the focus, or what's the primary, the bottom line?
Well, I need to be able to focus on Zoom, so when I'm having a conversation with one line of business, I really need to turn email off because I get distracted with the pop-ups. Oh, well, this is what's going on. But you may be, I have a 2-hour workshop, and I'm working on that one workshop, but man, it gets boring.
You asked me, that's a different question. So, by the way, this is an area I also have expertise in, but I don't tell, right? So, there is a couple different approaches to do that. One of my favorite is using your calendar to set up half-hour blocks. And doing that half-hour block, that's all you do. Right? So if you have a half-hour block, you kind of are turning off email, phone, maybe, and I don't do this, but people recommend that you don't do email to the end of the day. I'm one of those people who do it often, and I shouldn't. But and I'm not always so regimented when I want to do this, but at this stage, I'm so busy that my team, if they want me to shoot a video, they're going to put it in my calendar. So I'm very calendar driven and want to
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
So I'm going to say schedule your calendar. If you book time on the connection call, you're only going to get access to times. That's not my client calendar. A lot more availability than my connection call calendar, right? Because I want clients to be able to get to me when they need to. That said, I have times for writing. I have times for, I do have times on my calendar for email, but I definitely have times for shooting videos. And then, of course, the calls that come in.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. It's a good idea.
And it's not easy. And what you say to anyone who might call the back line, like your son if it's an emergency, or my mom, right, if it's an emergency, is, hey, if you need me, call the second time, I'll pick up.
Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, it sets some boundaries there. That's good. That's a great idea.
Robin, you said you do this all the time, and I'm kind of curious what...
Well, I appreciate your presentation. I took some notes, so I'm like making sure I did that part. I have struggled so much because you are 100% right on. I get clear on something, and then someone says, "Oh, well, nobody's going to pay you for this," or the current problem is the inflation, and it's like I deal with that, but then I also deal with people that just want things for free, and I'm like, where am I supposed to go with things? So I struggle with that, but like my audience has always been, at least for me, is I've had infertility, and I overcame it using hypnosis. I just didn't know that that's what it was, that I was using to overcome it. And so then that same technique I have perfected with each one of my pregnancies. I should mention I've been pregnant 9 times now. So I know my method works because I've also told other women to use the exact same method that I've been using, and it works to conceive. And so that's where I struggle with that, because I don't necessarily have all of the thousands and hundreds of testimonials. I've got myself, and I've got a couple other people, and that's about it. But at the same time, I also have the parenting aspect, because I'm really good at parenting. And then I'm also really good at bridging the age gap, or not the age gap, but being able to talk with Gen Z to understand them, because one of my gifts is speaking in a way that creates change, but also within that change, is being able to have Gen Z understand why the builders or the boomer generation did what they did and help them bridge that gap so that they understand each other. Like, I have that ability, so it's frustrating because online people are like, oh, she's doing a wellness company. Oh, now she's doing digital marketing. Now she's doing hypnosis. Now we don't even know what she's doing. I've literally had people tell me, and I'm like, my clients are all the same. They're the parents, they're the women that are dealing with infertility. That's all I have is the two avatars. So does that make sense at all, like what I'm struggling with?
Jericho was right, because as you explain two solutions to two groups of audiences, it's too much. Right? So I may encourage you, it doesn't mean you don't do it all, it's just you should be presenting a primary focus. Right? And if you could present a focus that, for me, one of the things, the biggest problem with part of what you're doing, one-off solutions are hard because you do a lot of work to get paid once. So unfortunately, as much money as you could potentially make by working with women who are using hypnosis to overcome infertility, that's a one-off thing. And you've got to, right? So there you might market through a partner, who could point you in the right direction. The being able to communicate effectively, like you pick the one where you can make the most money, where 80% of the revenue comes in, and that happens to be what you should be sharing with others. Right? And does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, and that's the part that I'm struggling because it's like currently I'm not making anything, and that's where I'm like, it gets very frustrating because I see where I'm going to have to do speaking because I love to talk. I like to talk more than I like to listen. Let me just say it. And like as far as like the parenting goes, like I said, I know how to do it. It's just trying. My holdup is if I go into these organizations, like I want to be able to do, is I want to find the parents there and help them because I guarantee the problems that they have in the workplace, they're showing up at home and vice versa. But it's how do I get into those organizations to help the parents that are struggling to leave their problems at home, who are struggling with that communication. So then at the same time, I'm like, well, then maybe my avatar is just changing without me noticing it. Because I love the hypnosis. That's my whole, like, what I love to do. Like, I get wired up, I can talk about it all day. And at the same time, it's like I said, I really struggle with that one person. Because at one time, what I did do is I did say, I help six-figure earners, something. I can't even remember, that's how bad it was. But I pinpointed that it was like the six-figure earners that I want to be able to help with that parenting to create that deeper connection with their child.
I appreciate you sharing. So, first of all, I'm by the way, I'm going to give you a CPOP that works for both.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Very much.
And what I will say though is, particularly with the John Maxwell, there's something that is important about being a coach. Coaches are better listeners than talkers. So because you said the opposite, it's something you need to work on in training. Because that's where coaches are particularly good at. So I've thought about a CPOP that would help force that. Now, I'll share the CPOP with you, and then I'll give you a tool you could use to build 3 customer testimonials. So I'll put it in chat, and I kind of like this one. Parents who need a sounding board and occasional advice.
I love that.
Right? Because that fits for both scenarios. Because what's important, if you go to go to the Clarity Roadmap. Once you share a CPOP, which is basically, like I said, that's your compass and your magnet. Your tell me more is what do you do? Well, one of the things you do, I help parents with infertility. I help parents who have a hard time talking, once they're successful, have a hard time communicating with their kids, right? I mean, now, here's my recommendation on, and this is good for anybody who wants to do this. When you're starting out with a new business, you need video testimonials. So I have a program, I call it the 3 for 3. And this is one of those courses that my team's working on creating, so I'll just share it to you now. In essence, what you do is you go to 3 parents that you know could use you, and you say, hey, listen, I'm starting off my business. I'm focusing on parents who need a sounding board and occasional advice. Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to offer you 3 months of my service for $1 a month. Here's the cost. At somewhere between month 2 and 3, I'd love to have a video testimonial. At the end of 3 months, we're going to talk about whether or not you want to continue at my regular rates. And somewhere between month 1 and 2, I'd love you to recommend 3 other people. So now at the minimum, you have 3 testimonials. You could potentially get more. You get to decide on their recommendations if you go for $1 or if you go for other prices. But the best way for you to know what playground you should be playing is to actually play in the playground and see if people will pay for it. They have to pay for it, $3, $1 a month is not a lot of money, but they have to pay something.
I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
At this rate, it's better than what I've been doing. Because I feel like I've been throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something sticks. I've been doing that for 6 years.
Wow. Well, there's something you need to learn, right? And that's thank you for this. You'll have to learn the listening over talking piece of it. That's important, by the way, as a coach. And so if you start embodying and living that CPOP, I think that could help you in a number of different ways. And good luck with that.
Thank you.
We have time for just one more question. Well, Mr. Mitchell, we appreciate your time today. I really hope everybody goes out and checks out your free resources. I saw that you have 10 minutes, 15, 17 minutes, so it's easy for me to focus on that.
I actually, my pleasure. My pleasure. Part of what I was doing on the courses, I was thinking, well, we don't have a lot of time. How can I consolidate, right, and do stuff that's less than a minute?
There you go.
Ah, Linda.
Yes, now I forgot what I was going to say. This is terrible. Never mind. I'll
That's
take
right.
it later.
We've all done
wait,
that before.
Erica, is the chat, is that on our YouTube channel? Does that show up? Or where?
I don't think the chat gets recorded.
How do we save that part of it? Can you get a picture of it? I don't have mine.
I can do that. Let's see, go to chat.
And take a picture?
Well, you can do that. The other thing you could do is you can also, if you look at chat, at the upper right-hand side are 3 buttons. And if you click on the 3 buttons, it will save chat for you.
Okay.
And then it's in then it'll be, well, maybe different. This is my computer and I'm on a PC. It may be different on an Apple. But somewhere you should be able to see 3 buttons. Oh, in that case, it looks like it might be at, let's see, I wonder if it's it's the 3 buttons at the bottom. No, that's individual.
I recorded it on Camtasia.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, Miss Linda, since you have the last words, would you like to lead us in the 4-way test?
David has his hand raised.
Oh, yes, David.
Just a commentary. We said 20, 25 minutes. We've gone about 45 and nobody said shut it off. So that gives you a clue.
Okay. The four-way test. Join me in stating the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First,
Is it the truth?
Second, is it
Fair to all concerned?
Third, will it build
Goodwill
goodwill
and other friendships?
Fourth, will it be beneficial
Beneficial to all concerned?
Five,
Be fun.
and I
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you in November. Be sure to register for our